Welcome back, everyone, to MSI, coming from Reykjavik, Iceland. I'm standing by with Vulcan after a necessary first step in the quest to emerge from the knockout stage. A victory here over Pentanet.gg. That said, I want to dive straight into it, starting with the draft. We saw something a little unique come out from the opposing side in the Yorick up there in the top lane. First off, how much of that was expected? And number two, when something like that comes out, with those few moments you have before the game kicks up, how do you guys kind of assess the situation and how to move forward?
Well, we didn't really expect them to pick Yorick. It's like obviously a niche pick, right? So, but anyway, once they picked it, Fudge was like pretty fine and just going down a bit of CS, just trying to scale into the late game or like mid game because Jace is very strong, even though he doesn't need to win lane that hard to be useful. So he was fine with just playing it safe and not going to the limits of the matchup. I'm sure like he could have played the matchup better, right? But if he plays it first time, there's no need to do that. And yeah, I mean, we talked about like if he uses his wife or his ultimate, we just Bobby run top and kill it, and then he's a lot weaker. So we kind of had an idea of what we want to do against Yorick. So even though it was a surprise, I think we adapted well to that pick and played a fun game, I guess. It wasn't like the best of games, but it's as you said, necessary step, and we got one dub, so let's go next now.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I do want to talk a little bit, a wider perspective when it comes to champion select and the way the Cloud9's kind of been approaching the tournament. We've seen a litany of different compositions come out for you guys. Poke comps, kind of like what we saw just now. We've seen traditional team fighting comps. We've seen the double AD and Enchanter composition. Do you feel like that kind of flexibility is necessary to be successful in a tournament like this versus, the argument that spreading yourselves too thin in attempting too many different styles?
Well, for us, it's kind of like we're trying different things because some things aren't working right at the moment. So we're like, okay, well, let's try to change stuff. But we've also kind of realized that we were very close to winning in a lot of the games. So we don't need to be like so drastic in our changes, and we can just stick to our guns. And like on a different day, we wouldn't make the mistakes, like the unfortunate things that happen in the game wouldn't have happened. And then we have a very different score at the moment. We would have a very different score, right? So yeah, we've been trying different things. I think it's valuable to have like a lot of things in your arsenal and be able to play a lot of different comps, but RNG's playing a lot of the same things because they're so far ahead. They don't need to change anything, right? They don't need to do a lot of different things. So it's like it's two sides to the same coins, right? But yeah, I think it's good for us to do a lot of different things because we have a pretty bad score at the moment, and we need to kind of surprise people, I think, at this point.
Let's continue along that line, talking about the score line. Now 1-4. Obviously, it looks grim if you weren't to have seen any of the games themselves. But as you mentioned, a number of those games incredibly close, and some would argue winning positions for Cloud9. So for you, do you take any solace or derive any confidence from the closeness of the games, regardless of the fact that you are fighting an uphill battle at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think the way the games went just proves to ourselves that's the most important, right? It proves to the fans as well, but it proves to ourselves that there's still hope, and we can still be the top teams in this tournament, and we can still advance. And that's the most important thing is that we still believe we can make it through, and we all still think that we can. So we're still here, and we're still looking to beat Damwon later today.
I was about to say, speaking of which, you got another top team coming up later today, but you've already taken a game off of Damwon before, so we know you can do it again. Vulcan, I don't want to take any more of your time so that you can get back to the team and start prepping for that second match of the day. So thank you so much, and congratulations for the victory here against Pentanet.
Thank you.
And from here, we're going to toss it back to Quick Shot and the guys at the desk to break it down.